Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Athletes with JST Train this time around, and I am joined by Leon Cassidy,
Oh
who
yeah,
is the founder of FITR Training that you might associate with JST because they are the platform for which you will receive all of your workouts. Leon, perhaps you can kick us off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm the founder of FITR Training. My background, I guess, is actually client facing. I'm not a coach per se. I've been sent PDFs, emails. I've been on different systems. I've seen all that, and I guess frustrations from that. Sort of born FITR Training out of those frustrations, and we are where we are now with it. And yeah, working closely with JST.
When you say you born FITR out of frustrations, was that in terms of receiving programming? Were you training before? Where did it come from?
Yes, yeah. So I was introduced to CrossFit probably roughly about 10 years ago now.
Oh,
By
no,
my
G.
Jesus, I wouldn't say that. um, yeah, about 10 years ago, by my sister-in-law, my brother, who train out of the gym that Emma McQuaid. So we know Emma McQuaid. We work with Emma McQuaid a lot. So I train out of that gym, CrossFit Berserk in Northern Ireland. Anyway, I was introduced to that. I was told, Leon, this is something you should look at. I think you'll really like. I'd been into my football when I was younger. I thought I was going to be a professional footballer, and obviously that didn't happen. And yeah, I did a taster session in CrossFit Tyneside, Reebok CrossFit Tyneside up in Newcastle. That's where I used to live before I moved back down south. And I was hooked. I was your classic CrossFit sort of person. Felt awful after 10 minutes of a taster session, and that was me. And I signed up the next day and did my I can't remember what it's called now, but the onboarding sort of thing you have to do. And then I was sort of 3 sessions a week, then 4 sessions a week, then 5 sessions a week. And yeah, so that's where it came out. And so I was getting PDFs, emails, different things. I've had it all, and I just thought there was an opportunity, and also out of the community. FITR Training isn't just CrossFit. However, we've got a big community of CrossFitters who use the system, and I just thought that there's an opportunity there to build something that hasn't been done yet. Going okay so far. We'll see. Long way
So
to
how
go,
long
but
have
we'll
you
get
been
there.
going?
Oh wow, that's not good enough. That's why I'm getting grey in the beard. Too long. I probably was building it for a couple of years before I dropped into Steve's DMs on Instagram in the
Dropped or
summer of
slid?
slid. Oh yeah, slid isn't it? Slid isn't it? Yeah, because it showed my age. That's why I'm too old. Slid into his DMs about the summer of 2019. And went up to sunny Wigan and had a conversation with Steve, and I guess the rest is history. And it's been good. We've worked very closely with JST, and obviously their program is now through the system, and exciting things to come.
I can only assume you went to Wigan on the one sunny day a year.
I can't remember it being sunny. I don't know. It must be, but no, it's good. He took me to his local cafe, and we had a good chat. No, it was really good. It was really good. It's good to chat through with Steve, because obviously Steve, he's got the background with the coaching side of stuff. My background isn't coaching, so complement our skills well. As I say, it's done some good stuff with JST, and looking forward to what we can do with JST moving forward.
So where did this entrepreneurial spirit come from? Like, it's quite a big step to suddenly decide you're going to start your own company and build an app.
Yes, so my background,
Websites and platform.
what it came down to was really a bit of what if. I just didn't want any regrets or anything like that. I was my background is actually finance, and I won't bore you to tears, but people don't want to listen to me talk about that, and it really is boring. But I was sort of moving around roles, and I was working with entrepreneurs, raising money for them. I was in venture capital for a brief period of time, and I just saw these guys who were doing exciting things with different businesses and different sort of industries. And I sort of thought, well, I fancy a bit of that and doing that. I guess family background as well. Parents, father in particular, always sort of been an entrepreneur, done different things, startup companies. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, always been around it. Technology was sort of my family's background. So I'm not a developer, but that's why technology. And then sort of marrying that up with the interesting in, I guess, fitness and CrossFit initially. And yeah, really does count to what ifs. I was in a position where I could make the risk and do it. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster, but and I'm sure there will be some more ups and downs along the way, but no, it comes down to a what if. No regrets, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen is it won't work out, and then at least you gave it a go.
From what you hear about like kind of entrepreneurs and running your own business from scratch, it's full on all of the time. How on earth do you balance that with your fitness?
Yeah, you got to get your priorities. You know, there is always something to do, and I guess what I've decided is the early hours of the day I'm more likely to get my training done if I can get up, get it done, and do it, and then it's done, and then I can crack on with the day knowing that I've done my training. So I try and do that every day. Some days it doesn't happen, of course, but yeah, try and every day sort of wake up 6:30. I'm very fortunate, and it was by pure chance I got my garage kitted out with some equipment a week before the first lockdown last year.
Whoa.
Pure chance. It wasn't planned or anything like that, and that's been a lifesaver. So I'm very fortunate that I go down to my garage and throw some stuff around for an hour and get sweat on, and then I'm done and I can crack on with the day. Because yeah, if I left it to the end of the day, more than likely it's not going to happen with stuff that's going on. You just got to schedule out a couple of hours of time. You need the time as well to your own. Just otherwise I'd go crazy if I wasn't sort of at least just sort of sweating for an hour and doing that and then just thinking about work. It's unmanageable.
Are you one of these entrepreneurs that sets his alarm for 4 a.m. in the morning to make sure he gets all of his work done?
that's a little bit past me. 6:30. I need my sleep. 6:30 is early enough for me. Get up, grab a protein shake, get in the gym, do something for an hour, and then I'm on my. But then again, I'm happy to work, and you have to work. Running your own business isn't 9 to 5. It just doesn't work like that. And so I'll be on my phone, much to the annoyance of my girlfriend. I'll be on my phone on my laptop well into the evening, answering emails. And when you're starting stuff up, starting a business, you're everywhere. You got to do everything, all the jobs. There's no one to delegate anything to, so you just got to do everything. So if at 9 o'clock at night an email comes in and somebody's asking a question, but it could mean you're getting somebody else on your system, then you've got to take the answer. You've got to do it. So it sort of swings. That's how it works, really. That answers your question. You can see my mind's a little bit. It's like when I'm talking to Steve, when Steve has to sort of like get me, my head sort of different ideas flying around all the time.
Pre-lockdown, were you training out of a box, or have you always just trained in your home?
Yeah, no. So pre-lockdown I was at as I say, I was at Reebok CrossFit Tyneside when they were in their second industrial unit, and then they moved to their really big new location. I don't know if you've seen it. I have
been there.
Yeah, you've been there. Yeah, so yeah,
trained their second one.
Yeah, which is a great setup. And then when I moved back down south, I trained at a local box here, and then I just fancied setting up my own garage and doing my own thing and doing that sort of stuff. I can train pretty well by myself. I not as well in a group. I probably take the odd 5 seconds, 10 seconds rest between sets, more than I should, but no one's looking, so no one's going to have a go at me. But yeah,
it's an interesting quality to have, because I think a lot of people actually struggle training by themselves and having that drive. Is that kind of almost paralleled in your work?
Don't get me wrong. There's, you probably will in a group when somebody's next to you throwing weights around and you're trying to keep up with them, you will work harder. But yeah, no, I've never really had an issue to an extent training by myself. You just got to get up and do it, otherwise it doesn't get done. And once you get in the mood and put your earphones in and get the music going, it's fine. If you're running your own thing, you've got to get up and go. You've got to do it. No one's going to do it for you, I guess. I guess the parallels are
So
there
we'll
with
say
that.
yes.
Yeah. So when Steve watches this, I know he's going to say, Leon, shorter answers. It's the same with any conversation that I've had. I always go off on one.
You're not that bad. But does programming help? I'm sure. Like when it's all down on you and you've got to get up at 6 a.m, it's cold and wet. You've got to go into your gym at home, which is probably in your garage or in your conservatory like me. I bet having a program just makes it that little bit easier.
It's so much easier. So I stuck a whiteboard, even though, it's on the phone, but I stuck a whiteboard up in the garage and I stick it all down. And obviously with the timings that you get on train, there's 12 minutes, 15 minutes. I know the timings that I've got and I know how long it's going to take. And I know if I'm in there, even if I get in at 7, I know I'm going to be out of there usually by 8. Perfect. It's done. It's dusted. I've got my training in, my mental health, that side of stuff, which is great for training. Then I'm free then to work out and do whatever else I need to do during the day. Absolutely.
Why train over compete?
For me, time is one thing. I don't. I think there's a couple of things. I'm realistic about my level of ability. I'm not at that level. I'm not at that level. I'm comfortable there. That's just not where I am. The train is the right level of ability for me. It is the broadness of training that I want. With the programming that's set, it's hitting the areas that I want to hit, and it's the capacity of time that I'm. Yeah, there's always time to train, but the time that I'm willing to devote, an hour and a half, that's where I'm comfortable at with what I want to train and the time I want to devote to training as part of my day. And so it hits the spot perfectly for those reasons. I'm never going to be a 2 hour, twice, once in the morning, once in the evening, 5 days a week. It's just not me.
You're obviously a platform that deals with lots of different people. Why did you choose JST in the first place?
Good question. Don't know. No, I'm joking.
Is Steve holding a family member of yours at ransom or something?
Shit, it's coming out. No, I want to work with the best in the business. As well as working, obviously, Steve and JST are extremely close to the business and working together. But we've worked in a similar way. And I say we, Steve and I, and moving forward, has worked in a similar way with some other very big brands that sort of coaching providers that use our system. So not to hijack a JST, but like prepared programming with Hesketh and some other guys, and Invictus we're very close with, who are coming on board. So it's something that served well. Work with the best in the business, and then we're going to build the best platform. So that, yeah. When Steve dropped in, and obviously I knew who JST and Steve were, it was a no-brainer to get in touch. I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I wasn't getting in touch.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember before we jumped on this call, we were chatting about the kind of variety of locations in which everybody works to make FITR happen and come together. Can you talk us through that and how it gets the best out of the business?
Yeah, so saying we are, I guess, the definition of remote. So as I was saying, we've got guys out in the Ukraine. I'm based just north of London. We've got some other guys in a different area of London. And we've got guys in Northern Ireland as well. So we've always done everything via Slack, Zoom, phone calls. So yeah, it's been sort of status quo to an extent. With everything going on in terms of how we run the business. So remote, I mean, a bit of a cliche, but we do everything remote. We're a remote coaching provider. We're all remote. And remote programming. So it's all natural to us doing everything sort of digitally, let's say.
Having all of those people in different communities, assumingly in different CrossFit communities, how does that get the best out of what FITR could offer people?
Yeah, I guess the nature of how we run things and the way we're set up as a business has also helped some of the features that we've put into the system, and alongside Steve and JST, with the community-based features, bringing people together. Especially given everything that's currently happened with the pandemic, having an area on the system where people can talk to each other, throw like people, like being liked, throwing some likes around, asking questions, all that type of stuff. It just helps that community, so you don't feel isolated. You do feel part of a wider program. So even though I'm training by myself in my garage, I think at the moment I'm not sure on the exact numbers, but there's a bunch of other guys who are following the programming that I'm on, and we touch base occasionally on the community. So there is still that sort of box feel. I don't know the right way to put it, but that feel when you go into a box and you're with all your guys that are training in the same class. To an extent you can have that, but still in a sort of remote programming sense of things. If that answers your question.
Do you find that is one of the reasons people come to you? Because I think that is really important, that if you are on an individualized programming, you lose some part of what it means to train as part of a CrossFit box.
Yeah, I mean, people are adopting our solution, for a variety of reasons. There's some things, the way we allow programming for coaches, the way they can build and deliver their programming. But absolutely, one of the features that coaches do seem to like is the sort of community aspect, the touch points with their clients,
and
even to the extent of
that's me typing away on my on my community group,
and all the sort of the leaderboards that you can create as coaches if you want to do that type of stuff. Obviously, the CrossFit world is loves that type of stuff, and throwing likes and comments and stuff on leaderboards, and you can do all that on the system. So yeah, absolutely. Any touch points with clients and allowing clients also to have this sort of community feel, it's been a massive draw.
Here's the big one. Are you doing the open?
I am currently deciding whether to do the open at the moment. I've got a dodgy left knee, a dodgy left shoulder, but
that's the age. You just got to push through that.
That is the age. I know. I do have to push through that, but no, probably. I guess probably is the answer. Probably not the answer you're expecting, but yeah, no, probably I will do it.
Are you excited that we have an actual season ahead of us? Because that's something that has been a bit up in air the last couple of weeks, and the open really now feels like CrossFit is back.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think given so many countries have different restrictions, you've got some guys who can get into the gym, you've got some guys who can't. How that's all going to play out with sort of the non-equipment version and the equipment version, how that's all going to sort of play out. So a really interesting one. I think, yeah, it's fantastic that they're able to get something moving, given where we were, say, 6 months ago even, and not being able to do anything. Yeah, it's really interesting. And then obviously interesting with the title sponsor changing as well from the games.
Yeah, that's big.
So that's a big update. So it's an interesting one. So yeah, and of course with the change in ownership last year, with everything that went on, big changes all around for sort of CrossFit as the brand. Yeah, interesting. I think it'd be, and then obviously huge update with Fraser deciding to move on and do his thing. I
think he broke a few hearts there.
Hey, it's opportunity for guys to step up now. So
absolutely.
Who fancies taking the mantle? We'll see.
So if you were to give any advice to someone who is thinking of taking up train over compete, what would you tell them?
Good question. I think
thank you very much.
Deciding what one, I think as for me, when deciding what you, I guess, level of capabilities, to speak properly, and time that you're able to devote to the programming. If you're looking for a great all-round workout for an hour and a half a day, I think 4 or 5 days a week, whatever it is, perfect solution for you. If you want to go that next level up, then I mean, I haven't been on compete, so I don't know the detail of compete, but I mean, that sounds like the next step you want to go to. But
it's detailed.
Yeah, for if you want to turn up, get a sweat on, lift some weights, work hard, and then you're done in 90 minutes max. Perfect. It gives you your all-rounding program for sure.
Well, Leon, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and have a little chat. Are there any passing messages you would like to send to Steve?
Wow. I'll keep them to myself. I'll speak to them. No, no, I'm joking. No, all good.
No, I'm joking too.
No,
It's lush to speak to you. Thank you so much.
no, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thanks very much.